This is Rick Rule for Rule Investment Media, sponsors of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium in Boca Raton, Florida, July 7 through 11. Whether you attend live in Boca Raton or via live stream, we will be giving you 50 hours of programming over 4 days, more than you can possibly absorb. First of all, remember to watch the recordings afterwards. But secondly, watch and pay attention to these pre-conference interviews. This will give you the ability to really determine what is the highest and best use of your time at the conference. Today, I have the good fortune and the good pleasure, frankly, of interviewing Craig Parry, a serially successful entrepreneur who is a member of our Living Legends group, a group of people who have built multi-billion-dollar mining companies from scratch. It's important to listen to these guys because they can tell you what they learned in the process that made them better investors, and they can help you become a better investor too. Craig, thank you for your effort on behalf of investors over 20 or 30 years. Thank you too for your ongoing support of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium.
Good morning, Rick. Great to see you. Thank you for your support as well. I love to get down to Boca Raton for your conference. There's always a great crowd there, and you have some wonderful speakers. Grant Williams is one of my personal favorites to listen to.
Well, I'm sorry you said that. Grant always seems to outpoll me as best speaker at my own conference, but I'll forgive you that sin. Craig, let's talk something about your history. Tell us about the successes in your past that led you to be nominated for the Living Legends panel and accepted, of course, by the other legends.
Well, thank you very much for that. Real pleasure to be in that esteemed company. Not sure I fit in completely, but we've had as a team and a group some real success over time. I started with Rio Tinto exploration 25 years ago now. As part of a team there at Rio Tinto, we discovered a iron ore deposit called Wealth under Thaluna, which I don't talk about that much, but that was an interesting kick-off to my career. And then we went on to find for Tigers Realm Coal, a giant coking gold deposit in Far Eastern Russia. Lee Courier, Chris McFadden and I started NextGen. We discovered the Arrow deposit, of course. NextGen now, $6 billion company, and Lee and the team there will be building, I think, the world's biggest and best uranium mine in coming years. I helped Walt Cole start Skeena Resources, and we discovered another 5 million ounces at Eskay Creek, where people, thought that had all been picked over. At ISO Energy, we discovered the Hurricane deposit. That's now nearly $1 billion company as well. Hurricane was a fabulous discovery. I think the highest grade uranium deposit ever discovered. A fantastic setup there. And then we've gone on to start Vizsla Silver, and of course we discovered the Panuco district down in Mexico, where we've got 325 million high-grade ounces of silver. I think we'll be building one of the world's great silver mines over the next couple of years. And apart from that, we've got a number of other companies in the stable under the Inventa Capital platform. My personal favourite at the moment is Vizsla Copper. Rick, I've got a view that copper is going to go to $30 a pound in the not-too-distant future, so we're simply putting our foot on as many pounds as we can.
Sorry, we lost the last sentence there, Craig. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, Vizsla Copper, we've, as I say, I think we'll see $30 per pound copper in the not-too-distant future. It's an incredibly tight market, and we just don't know where new development of projects to meet this demand profile that we see coming is going to come from. So we're just putting our foot on as many pounds as we can whilst they're still cheap, and I don't think we've got long to do that, but we've got some fabulous projects here in central British Columbia with a huge resource base already in place and lots of upside to come there from those projects.
Briefly, Craig, if you could tell us something about opportunity identification and the process of acquiring projects and maturing them, something about the merchant banking aspects of the Inventa Group before we go deeper into the Vizsla companies.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, we've always, we've got a very strong technical team here. And we rigorously apply some key principles that come to assessing any opportunity. Really apply this to any business opportunity, but particularly mineral deposits and exploration. So it's the size of the prize, cost of the test, and chance of success. You want to be looking for deposits that have scale. So if you're looking for uranium, you want to look for those highest grade large deposits in the Athabasca Basin. Cost of the test, you don't want to spend too much money on exploration. Drilling's very expensive, and so you don't want to be drilling holes to the moho, preferably without helicopter assistance. Places where it's relatively inexpensive to explore for those big deposits. And then chance of success it talks about the prospectivity of an area, the endowment of an area. And again, we've got Dr. Peter McGraw on as an advisor of Vizsla Silver, and he makes the point that there's 10 billion ounce silver districts on the planet, of which 6 of them are in Mexico and in that Sierra Madre. So, for us, looking and exploring in the Sierra Madre for a world-class silver deposit made so much sense. So we apply those principles strongly. We're very fortunate that because of some of the success we've had, we've got a good, strong backing in the market. We've the companies that I've started and led, we've raised about $1.1 billion in the past 14 years. So we've got a good track record of raising capital, being supported by investors and making investors money, and that's so crucial. For us, and then of course probably the third leg of that is being able to get your story out there, and that's where your conference and your support so very very important to us, Rick. We cover all of those things at Inventa Capital very well. And I think, one of the ways that we're going to set ourselves apart in the next little while is to build that Panuco silver mine, go into production and become a major silver producer and start to build a serious mining company around that opportunity.
Well, let's drop down into the value proposition of Vizsla Silver now. Tell us something about what you have. Tell us something about Panuco. Tell us what the unanswered questions are, or put differently, tell us what the catalysts in the next 12 to 18 months are.
Yeah, look at as I say, I've been very fortunate to have been involved in some fantastic discoveries over the years. This is my personal favourite now. It's very rare that you get an opportunity to control an entire district, and here we've got the entire district untapped, untold exploration upside there. I think hole 7 was our first hole. I've got that on the wall here, a piece of that core. We drilled 6 metres at nearly 10 kilos per tonne silver. So, massive drill intercept. That was an interesting time. That day we put that drill result out. I think the first phone call we got was from Eric Sprott wanting to give us $10 million. That set us up very, very well. And we've sat there, we've been drilling away there for about 3-4 years now. We've proved up 325 million ounces of silver at nearly 500 grams per tonne silver equivalent. So very high grade, straightforward, thick. It's a straightforward mining scenario, if you like there. We've got very thick veins of silver. This Kapala discovery that we made is on average 11 metres wide. So perfect sort of setup for a major silver deposit. We'll be putting out a PEA in the next few months, aiming sort of end of June, July. That will answer a lot of those questions that you allude to there, Rick. We've obviously got a very large, high-grade silver resource, plenty of exploration upside, and we'll keep a couple of rigs out there testing some of the other targets we've got across the property. I've got a personal view that this will be a billion-ounce silver district, and I think Peter sort of concurs with that. There's huge amounts of upside. So the exploration side of things is looked after. The resource base is strong, with a very large high-grade resource there. And then the next thing is this PEA and to look at the studies. But what I can tell you is, the numbers we're seeing suggest that this is going to be a fabulously economic deposit and eventually mine. So that's the next step. Of course, permitting is always an issue. You've got to be good at that and have good people doing that. We've got great people on the ground in Mexico that are supporting that side of things. We won recently a permit to build an underground test mine. That came in record time. I think from the application process to winning that license took about 6 weeks. I was expecting it would take 6 months. So we know we can get things done in Mexico. The next question is, okay, well, complete our PEA, look at what the project looks like, make the application, and then go through the permitting process. But I would expect that we'll get through that fairly rapidly. We're going to do something a little bit unusual here. We brought on Simon Smirlek, who is a director of the company. He was, until recently, the chief operating officer of Ausenco Engineering. Simon's had his hand in building over 50 major mines around the world. And so getting Simon into the executive team as our COO at Vizsla Silver has been very important. And what he's suggesting to us is something a little bit unusual. We're going to skip the next logical step, which is the pre-feasibility study stage, and move directly into a full feasibility study, because we think the economics of the project will support that, and we want to get this mine built as quickly as we can.
For some of the newer investors who are coming to the conference, explain to them the aspect of the PEA. Explain to them that this is sort of the first third-party definition of the economics. Give them a sense of what the value proposition for them is.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is often where things, the value of a company can transform very, very rapidly. At the moment, we've got analyst coverage from about 11 analysts, I think. They all make fairly sort of wildest, well, not wild, but there's a lot of guesstimates in their analysis. I think sort of some of the suggestions as to the NPV of the project are anywhere from 400 million to a couple of $1 billion. The PEA process will flesh that out, make it very obvious to people what the value proposition of the project is. It also sets us up, and I should say, we're doing this PEA to a degree that you wouldn't normally see in a PEA, because, as I say, we see the economics of the project as being very favourable, and we want to get on with this as quickly as we can. We've engaged Ausenco Engineering, so Simon's old shop, to do that work, and that that points to where we're heading. Of course, there's a great success story here in Vancouver and Mexico. Silvercrest Minerals, Eric Fear's company. Eric's just done such a tremendous job there. But when they put out their initial PEA, it was a real light bulb moment for investors. And I think, the market cap of that company went from a few $100 million to $1 billion over the ensuing months. And that's the opportunity here. When people see the economics of the project, it will crystallise in a lot of investors' minds the value of the project. And we should deliver for shareholders on that basis.
Craig, we encourage our attendees to be in touch with companies that they want to visit at the conference before the conference, either directly or through the conference one-on-one mechanism. And certainly we encourage the participation in interviews like this so that people can use their time at the conference more effectively. To the extent that our attendees want to learn more about either the Inventa Group or either Vizsla Silver or Vizsla Copper, who should they contact, and what are the contact information around these people?
So, I'm really looking forward to getting down there and seeing some familiar faces and making some new friends, and I'll be there for the whole conference. We'll have a booth, of course, and so anyone can call in there, and we'd love to see as many people as possible. And in the meantime, you can reach out to me personally on Craig at inventacapital.ca. Inventa is INVENTA capital.ca. And I'll endeavour to get back to you as quickly as we can. But, as I say, we're looking forward to getting down to Boca Raton and seeing as many people as we can there.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Serially successful member of the Explorers League wants to talk to you. Potential catalyst coming up with regards to the PEA, potential world-class silver deposit, the type of opportunity that we love to showcase at the Natural Resources Investor Symposium. Craig, thank you for your ongoing efforts on behalf of various natural resource shareholders, especially myself, of course. And thank you, too, for your ongoing support of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium.
It's a real pleasure, Rick. Looking forward to seeing you in July.